channel. Today we are going to be reading page 11 through 20. So I'm just going to read the last paragraph on page 10. Alright, I stood there, feeling awkward. My face reddened. My hands suddenly felt too big for my body. The second thing I said to her was, "My name is Mickey." Man, am I smooth or what? Every line is a killer. "I'm Ashley Kent." "Cool," I said. "Yeah." Somewhere in this world, in China or India or a remote section of Africa, there was probably a bigger dork than me. I couldn't swear to that. I pointed at her empty lap. "Did you bring a lunch?" "Nope, I forgot." "This sandwich is huge," I said. "Do you want half?" "Oh, I couldn't," but I insisted. And then she invited me to join her. Ashley was also a sophomore, and also new to town. Her father, she said, was a renowned surgeon. Her mother was a lawyer. If life were a movie, this was the part where you start the music montage. Some sappy song would be playing while they flashed Ashley and me sharing a lunch, talking, laughing, looking coy, holding hands, and ending in that first chaste kiss. That was 3 weeks ago. I made it to Mr. Hill's class as the bell sounded. He took roll call. The bell pealed again, and it was time for first period. Ashley's homeroom was across the hall. I waited and saw, and yet again she wasn't there. I described Ashley as my girlfriend. That might have been an exaggeration. We were taking it slow, I guess. We'd kissed twice, no more. I didn't really like anyone else at my new school. I liked her. It wasn't love, but it was also early. On the other hand, feelings like this usually diminish. That's the truth. We pretend that they grow as we get closer to our partner. But most of the time, it's the opposite. We guys see a gorgeous girl, and we get this big-time crush. One that makes it so hard to breathe and makes us so anxious. We want it so bad, we always blow it. If we do somehow land her, feelings begin to diminish almost immediately. In this case, my feelings for Ashley really did grow. That was a little scary in a good way. Then, one day, I came to school and Ashley was absent. I tried her cell, but there was no answer. She was gone. The next day, too. Then the next. I wasn't sure what to do. I didn't have her home address. I checked the name Kent online, but they must have been unlisted. In fact, there was nothing about her online at all. She simply vanished into thin air. Chapter 2. An idea came during third period. Ashley and I only had one class together, AP History, with Mrs. Friedman. She was my favorite teacher so far. She was theoretical and enthusiastic. Today we were talking about how well-rounded certain historical figures were, begging us to become Renaissance men or women. I hadn't talked to her privately yet. I hadn't talked to any of my teachers outside of class. I'd kept to myself. That was my way. I got new kid stares. One day, a group of girls were giggling in my direction. One came up to me and said, "Can I, have your phone number?" Confused, I gave it to her. 5 minutes later, I heard giggling and my phone vibrated. The text read, "My friend thinks you're cute." I didn't respond. After class, I approached Miss Friedman. "Hey! Mr. Broilter," Miss Friedman said with a smile that lit up her face. "I'm glad to have you in my class." I wasn't sure how to reply to that. Thank you? "I never had your father, but your uncle was one of my favorite students. You resemble him." My uncle, the great Myron Broilter. I didn't like my uncle, and was really tired of hearing how swell he was. My father and my uncle were very close growing up, but then they had a major falling out. The last 15 years of my dad's life, basically from the moment I was conceived to the moment he died, the two brothers hadn't spoken. I guess I should forgive Uncle Myron, but I'm not much in the mood. What can I do for you, Mr. Boylater? When some of my teachers call you Mr. or Ms., it comes across as either patronizing or too formal. Miss Friedman hit the right note. As you probably know, I said slowly, Ashley Kent has been absent. And so she has. Miss Friedman was a short woman, and it took some effort for her to look all the way up at me. You two were close. We're friends. Oh, come on, Mr. Boylater. I may be old, but I see the way you look at her. Even Miss Cadwell is upset she isn't catching your eye. I reddened. Then she said, Rachel Cadwell was probably the hottest girl in school. Anyway, I dragged out the word. I was thinking maybe I could help her out. Help her out how? I thought maybe I could get her homework and then, pass it on to her. Miss Friedman had been cleaning off the blackboard. Most teachers use smart boards, but Miss Friedman liked to joke. She was old school, literally. She stopped and looked at me. Did Ashley ask you to get her homework? Well, no. So you just took it upon yourself. This was a dumb idea. Even if she did homework, where would I bring it? I don't know where Ashley lived. Never mind, I said. Thanks anyways. She put down the eraser. Mr. Boylater, I turned to her. Do you know why Ashley Kent has been absent? My heart started doing a slow thud. No, ma'am. But you're worried? I didn't see the point in lying to her. Yes, ma'am. She hasn't called you. No, she hasn't. Strange. Miss Friedman frowned. All I can tell you is that I got a note saying I shouldn't expect Ashley back. I'm not sure I understand. That's all I know, Miss Friedman said. I guess she moved away. But, her voice trailed off. But what? Never mind, Mr. Boylater. She started wiping the blackboard again. Just be careful. At lunchtime, I waited online at the cafeteria. I always figured that there would be more drama at a high school. Yes, it was full of cliques. The jocks were called the Lacrose brothers. They all had long hair, big muscles, and started every sentence with the word, yeah. Then there was a table for the animes, white kids who think they were Asians. They loved manga comics and video games that matched. The pretty girls weren't so much pretty as skinny with high heels and expensive clothes. Then there were the gamers, hipsters, the skaters, the druggies, the geeks, and theater kids. There didn't seem much class warfare here. These kids had been together for so long that they didn't really notice. The so-called outcast who sat alone had been sitting alone for so many years that it wasn't so much cruelty as habit. I wasn't sure if that was for better or worse. A kid who would definitely fit into geek camp came up to me with his tray in hand. His pant cuffs were set as flood level. His sneakers were pure white with no logo. He pushed up his Harry Potter glasses and lifted his tray in my direction. Hey, you want my spoon? He asked. I barely used it. I looked at the tray. Barely? Yeah. He raised the tray a little higher so I could see. The spoon sat in his syrupy fruit tray. No, I said, I'm good. You sure? Yeah. Out of spoons or something? Nah, they got plenty. Okay, then thanks. No, I'm good. He shrugged. Suit yourself. When I finished my lunch spoon, that was how I thought of him now, was waiting for me. "Where are you gonna sit?" he asked. Since Ashley had vanished, I had been eating alone outside. "I'm not sure." Spoon started to follow me. "You're big, and you keep to yourself, like Shrek." Not much to say to that. "I could be your donkey, you know." "Okay." If I went outside, he'd follow, so I looked for a safe place to sit inside to sit. Or your Robin. Oh, or your Robin, like Batman and Robin, or Sancho Panza. You ever read Don Quixote? Me neither. But I saw the musical Man of La Mancha. I love musicals, so does my dad. My mom, not so much. She likes cage fighting, like the MMA. That's mixed martial arts. And Dad and me, we go to musical once a month. Do you like musicals? Sure, I said, scanning the cafeteria for a safe haven. My dad's cool like that, taking me to musicals and stuff. We've seen Mamma Mia 3 times. It's awesome. The movie, not so much. I mean, Pierce Brosnan sings like someone shot him in the throat with an arrow. Dad gets discount tickets because he works at the school. He's a janitor here. But don't ask him to give you access to the girls' locker room, okay? Because I asked and he said no dice. Dad can be strict like that, you know? Yeah, I said. I know. There was nearly an empty table in the so-called outcast corner. The only person there, with my unappreciative dismissal and distress, Emma. I still hadn't learned her name. "So, about being your donkey. I'll get back to you," I told Spoon. I hurried over and put my tray next to hers. She had the heavy black makeup thing going on. Shoe polish, black hair, black clothes, black boots, pale skin. She was goth or emo or whatever they called that look now. Tattoos covered her forearms, one snaked up her shirt and around her neck. She looked up at me with a face that could not be more sullen without actually being punched. "Oh, great," she said. "The pity sit." Pity sit? Think about it. I did. I had never heard of that one before. "Oh, I get it. Like I pity for you for sitting alone, so I sit with you." She rolled her eyes. "And here I pegged you for a dumb jock. I'm trying to be a Renaissance man." "You have Miss Friedman, too. I see." She looked to her left and then her right. "Where's your preppy girlfriend?" "I don't know." So from sitting with the prissy pretty girl to sitting with me, Emma shook her head. Talk about a big step down. I was getting tired of thinking her of Emma. "What's your name?" "What do you want to know?" "I heard a kid call you Emma. I heard Miss Owens call you Emma." She picked up her fork and started playing with her food. I noticed now she had pierced eyebrows. Ouch. "My real first name is Emma. Everyone calls me Emma." "Why?" I just want to know what to call you." Grudgingly, she said, "Emma." "Okay, Emma." She played with her food some more. "So, what's your deal? I mean, you're not recusing the fat girl. Your bitter act? It's a little over the top. You think? I would dial it back." She shrugged. "You might be right. So you're a new kid, right?" "I am." "Where are you from?" "We traveled around a lot. How about you?" She digressed. "I lived in this town my whole life. Doesn't seem to be bad." "I didn't see you fitting in yet." "I don't want to fit in." Ema liked that reply. I looked down at my tray. I picked up my spoon and thought of, well, spoon. I shook my head and smiled. What? Ema asked. Nothing. It was weird to think about us. But when my father was at my age, he sat in this very cafeteria and ate his lunch. He was young and had his whole life ahead of him. I glanced around the room and wondered where he would have sat, who he would have talked to, if he laughed as easily back then as when I'd known him. That's the end of chapter 20, page 20. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for more videos.